Hey everybody, it's Pajama Life with our review of Conclave, Nightbitch, and Gladiator II. Let's start.
The Pope is dead.
It seems the responsibility for the Conclave falls upon you.
The supervision of this election is a duty I never thought I'd have to perform. You understand?
No sane man would want the papacy.
Another cardinal has just turned up.
The Holy Father was spying on all of us. How has this been kept a secret for so long?
We'll never find a candidate who doesn't have any kind of black mark against them.
Although we sisters are supposed to be invisible, God has nevertheless given us eyes and ears.
This is a conclave. It's not a war.
It is a war, and you have to commit to a side.
Hey everybody, it's Pajama Life, and with me, I'm Pajama, and with me are these two guys. David, say hey to the people.
Hey, everybody. Great to be with you. We still got a little bit of snow here in D.C., but we're staying warm and looking forward to talking to you guys tonight. So let's get started.
And this guy, Patrick, say hey to the people.
Hey, everybody. There is a lot of snow still in Lawrence, Kansas, where I'm coming from. Yes, it was not great, but here we are, and fortunately, we had some good stuff to look at.
All right, and starting with Conclave, I want to go first. I love it. I love it. This was one of my favorite movies of 2024. I'm sorry we couldn't have reviewed it earlier, but this right here, oh my goodness. And I'm going to review the book as well, because I'm excited to see what kind of differences are in between the book and the movie. But this was so thought-provoking and interesting, and the acting was top drawer. I just loved seeing Ray Fiennes in anything since a Strange Days. But this Stanley Tucci, and it was John Lithgow. I mean, everybody was at the top of the game. I love the subject matter. And the last 10 minutes, and nobody revealed the ending on this show, because I want people to have the joy that I had in, like, oh my gosh, it was so great. David, what did you think?
All right. Well, I was going to ask about whether it's a spoiler or spoiler-free conversation.
It's spoiler-free.
Spoiler-free. With that said,
and
I thought this was a really... There you go. I think this was a really well-done movie. The acting was top-notch. It was a great story. You didn't know where it was going to go. There's levels of mystery and intrigue throughout. Everyone did a superb job in this. It will be interesting to see what kind of conversation comes about from this movie. And I won't say anything more, but if you like strong acting performances, if you like character-driven stories, this is a great story for you.
Yes, Cardinal Benitez. I'm sorry, I don't know his name. I hope he gets nominated for an Oscar. I hope that Ray Fiennes get nominated for an Oscar. Pat, what did you think?
Well, I mean, okay, without any spoilers. I mean, the spoilers in this was as big as the last 10 minutes of The Sixth Sense, the last 10 minutes of, The Crying Game. I mean, there were so many great, oh my God moment. But, you guys talk about the acting. That was an incredibly directed movie, and the visuals in it. I mean, the cinematography, there was somebody there who understood the power of silence. And the power of just a still image, a slow move over something, let you just take it in. I mean, there was as much said with the absence of things as there was with the actual filling in of things, which is a really rare thing anymore. It feels like everybody feels like they need to talk and fill every minute with something. And this had a really wonderful pace to it. And like I said, visually stunning. I mean, everybody fit what they're supposed to fit. It felt very real. I mean, and it felt, and just because of the silence of, you know, the monastic world that you're kind of going through with this, and you see all this, and just everybody's dressed the same, everything looks the same. There's all these personality stuff. Really liked it. It was totally worth the time watching. You know, I at first I was like, great, another murder mystery about some, you know, Catholic rich people. You know, didn't care. But you know what? Well done. Well done.
Yeah, definitely. Ooh, I want to talk about it, but I don't want to spoil it for you out there. But definitely watch Conclave. It'll blow your head off. Blow your head off good. All right, next up is another odd, different movie. Amy Adams, but once again, she turns it out in Nightbitch. Let's take a look.
He's super cute. Do you just love getting to be home with them all the time? Yeah, I do. I love it. Should we do this? Should we act like dogs?
Mama fuzzy.
I'm not fuzzy. I just feel off. Look at my teeth. See how sharp they are?
It's a little bit weird.
I'm never going to be smart, happy, or thin ever again. Oh, and I'm pretty sure I'm turning into a dog.
You're so funny.
Motherhood, it changes you. It connects you to some primal urges.
Do you ever feel like the big secret is that we are gods? We fucking create life. We are so powerful. What the fuck? I could crush a walnut with my vagina.
A little bit of language in there. Patrick. Oh, David, what did you think of Nightbitch?
Oh, well, you know, based on the Bob Seger song from the 80s, Night Moves, which is what I thought it was going to be, but it wasn't. Just kidding. This story was completely out of left field. It's a bit of a horror story in some respects. A horror in the realistic horror.
It's a horror story. So
it can be the day-to-day doldrums, but a little bit of American Werewolf in London with some of this. You know, I've never the most nipples I've ever seen on a person in a movie would have been in the Total Recall with the young woman with Arnold Schwarzenegger. So in this flick, we got 6. We didn't get 3. We got twice as many in this. So that's a new personal record for me in seeing that. Note I did put on the hat just to kind of fit in with this part of the program here. One of my Christmas gifts. Fun movie. Love Amy Adams. A weird story. Certainly a commentary on the challenges of motherhood. Maybe a little too harsh on that, but nonetheless, an engaging, thought-provoking performance, and it's definitely one to keep you talking.
Yeah, this one is interesting because I think it's also an art piece too. The way she was an artist, I think the movie is a piece of art, and I think it's also more important. Well, maybe not more importantly, but just as importantly about artists and the sacrifices you make as artist, or particularly if you're a female artist, what is the balance between staying true to your art child and its creation versus your human child and its development and creation. So I kind of saw both of those being developed. and some pretty powerful truths about what it's like to be a mom, and how you may give up yourself in order to do that, and whether or not you should do that for your own health. And I thought it was Amy Adams. I was kind of like, well, what is she doing in this? But of course, she's just one of those people who can take anything and make it interesting and great and different and find that groove in it. And so she just was amazing. I wanted to punch the husband a couple of times, kind of like she did. But sometimes as women, we try to give up, trying to please everybody and end up not pleasing anybody. And I really love that the husband was like, I don't like this either. I want the woman I married who was strong and independent and fierce and weird and quirky. I want her too. So,
I think he's got that.
Huh?
He's got that.
Yeah,
he's got that. I mean, she's howling at the moon. That's as weird and as fierce as you can get.
Yeah, and I thought that was kind of a metaphor too for, being untamed and uninhibited and getting back to that primal. As an artist, I imagine that primal side of her is more to the surface in her creation of art than the rest of us out here. So that urge to create is pretty fierce in artists. And so that's why I was just like, at first I was kind of like, oh my God, what am I watching? But then I started, it made me think, afterwards. I kept thinking about it. So I liked it a lot better than I expected to. And I'm not a mother, so I don't know some of the struggles, but I know, thinking about it from a woman's perspective, those feelings she has. So definitely this is something really interesting. It's not the typical kind of movie, and I'm glad for it. So definitely take a look at and hit us back with what you think of Nightbitch on Netflix. All right. And finally, more traditional movie telling with Sharks in the Coliseum. I think that's what we're going to call it. Gladiator II. Let's take a look.
Where were you born?
I don't know. I never knew a mother nor a father.
You will be my instrument.
Who are you?
I own you now. But whose head could I give you to satisfy your fury?
The general will do. Rome has taken everything from me, but I will have my vengeance.
There is plenty of pain waiting for you in the next life. I don't know why you are so greedy for it in this one.
Strength among us! I don't fight for power. I fight to free Rome from men like them.
The gods have spoken!
Patrick, what'd you think of Gladiator II?
Okay. Again, another gorgeous movie that didn't have a.
I disagree,
oh yeah,
but go ahead. We're gonna talk about that.
Okay. Cinematography amazing. The movie itself did a wonderful job of doing atmosphere and getting things, the feel of it. And it just looked good. God, it looked good, but it didn't feel like much of a risk at all.
Yeah.
It was man, if you've seen the first one, you've probably seen this one pretty much. For the most part, you've seen this one. There were some interesting beats, and Denzel Washington, dude, what a villain. Absolutely awesome. Man, he had that down. I'm telling you,
Was
the
he
Pedro
a
Pass.
That's
Yeah.
a debate.
Yes. he was a villain in this. I mean, granted, he was a product of his time, and but at the same time, that does not lessen the rightness or wrongness of his actions. So, I'd be interested to hear how you're going to defend that. But okay, uh, I loved it. It looked good. The performances were all good, but it was not anything new to me. And like I said, I love Roman movies, man. I love period pieces from that period because very interesting. There's a lot of historical lessons to be learned from Rome and from the way they ruled the world, and how everybody since then has been trying to be Rome part deux. So, I'm just saying that while it was a good watch, I did not regret one little bit watching it because it was fun. It was, action. The action sequences were top notch, but there was not much new in the storytelling. It didn't feel like so. Yeah, overall, I really liked it, but like I said, I was hoping for a little bit more from Ridley Scott. Just saying.
Yeah. Okay, David, what'd you think?
Oh, I think it very much had the feel and look of an epic. And I probably was in the good but not great kind of category. As Pat's talking, and I'm agreeing with what he says, it wasn't that original. And of course, to be fair, the title Gladiator II does kind of give an indication that we are a sequel. Sometimes sequels, Godfather 2, Empire Strikes Back. There's some wonderful films that carry on a story. But I did think this was grand in scale. It was really well done. Great acting. And seeing and really enjoyed Denzel Washington. I do consider him an antagonist in this story myself. But I enjoyed it. I probably like the original Gladiator better. Feel kind of compelled to compare the two since it's, didn't have to call itself that. Rian Johnson stole everything from Agatha Christie and didn't give her any credit for plot, story, characters, etc. But I'll always put a nail in that man's coffin. It deserves it. But watch Gladiator 2, get the popcorn out. It's an epic feast for the eyes.
And I think that Denzel Washington needs to be arrested because he just stole the whole film. He was what made it really work. And his story, I think, was the most interesting story. Without him in it and his story, I think it would have not been as a fun kind of story. Yeah. And I have a debate about whether or not he's the real villain. I think that the emperors were definitely the real villain. I think he was of his time and wanted power. And so he knew what it took to get power. And it was a brutal system and he took advantage of it. So I'm not saying that he is the true villain of it, but I thought it was kind of funny at the end. I was like, oh yeah, Denzel told him that, this is how I'm going to be treated in the movie. So it was definitely a lot of fun. I don't want them to make Gladiator 3. Let this just stay as a twofer. And let it just be what it is. And I think Ridley Scott did that. I think I'm just having a problem with Ridley Scott's latest work. I just don't care for some of the stuff he's done lately. I don't know. I think and I thought I saw it at the theater and I thought it looked terrible. It looked washed out. It looked grainy. It was just not. And visually, he's done some amazing things. And that's why I was kind of like, what? And then we rented it at home and it looked a lot better on the small screen. So I don't know. The cinematography to me was just washed out and kind of like not rich like I remember the first one being very rich in colors and tones and stuff. Like this was just like, I don't know, it's the filter. I think he was using maybe a brown filter or something, and it just kind of it just didn't look good.
Well, you know what you're saying. I saw this on TV, so I didn't. So I thought it's fascinating that you made that point. I remember reading about, going back a few years, the movie Solo, and there was a real emphasis in the conversation of the lighting in that movie, which was a very dark film, if you remember it. And I read many movie theaters. This is why I'm bringing this up. Many movie theaters did not have projectors that could properly project the kind of light. So I'm wondering if the theater that you were at, Pam, if it's a film issue or it's a projector theater issue.
It might be, because when we saw it on TV, it looked a lot better.
Yeah.
And so when I walked out of the theater, I was mad because I was like, ugh, this looked terrible. So and it detracted from the experience. But on the small screen, it looked a little bit richer and it looked more interesting. So maybe it was something with that. But you know, it's like the guy said, it's a fun popcorn kind of movie. Don't take it too seriously. But it's something that you can have fun with, particularly when it comes out on streaming. You're not paying $20 a person to see it. So definitely, I think we all agree. The gore is on like 8. So don't take little kids to see this, because heads are flying, blood is squirting, arms are coming off, leg is gross in that sense. But for adults, this is a lot of fun. So definitely check out Gladiator 2. Maybe for the first time, I'm going to say, on the small screen. And so that is our show. What and we next week are going to look at the Skeleton Crew and wrap that up, as well as the return of Cameron Diaz and Jamie Foxx to some extent back in action. And it's back, and I'm so excited. Severance is back. Definitely go back and look at the first season of Severance to get back into the severed world before we start the new season. And Patrick, say goodnight to the people.
Everybody, good night. Have a great week. We will see you next week. If you're in a part of the nation where wildfires or cold snaps, ice storms, be careful.
Yeah, definitely. David, say goodnight to the people.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Enjoy this week coming up. Certainly be safe if you've got any kind of inclement weather or hazardous conditions. And we will see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Same bat channel. And definitely, please be careful if you're out there shoveling. Don't overtax yourself. Get a little kid in the neighborhood, a little bit of money to scrape your driveway or something. Don't put yourself in danger. But also, we say goodbye to one of the best Americans in our lifetime, Jimmy Carter. And should we all really emulate him? And we'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.